Okay, good morning, everybody. It is Monday, July 7th, 2025. I hope everyone had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Want to do a quick video about the floods in Texas. I'm sure you've seen it on the news. It is a horrible, horrible tragedy, and my heart goes out to all the poor people affected by that. I can't imagine being a parent and dropping my kid off at camp, thinking I'd see them in a week or so, and then having this happen. But what has happened is, as it is our tradition in America, this has become a heavily politicized event because we do that with literally every tragedy. And a lot of people saying that this is Trump and DOGE's fault, that they cut the weather service, and that is why there's inadequate warning and all that other kind of stuff. So I wanted to address that claim. Now, as you know, I have consistently been highly critical of the president. I've been highly critical of DOGE. I'm going to continue to be, but part of what I try to be here also is intellectually honest. And so where praise is due, and when criticism is unwarranted, it should be deemed unwarranted. And in this case, the criticism is unwarranted. Let's start with the idea that there was no warnings issued. The National Weather Service issued a flood warning 12 hours before the flood started, and issued a flash flood warning 3 hours before it started. That is more than enough time to evacuate riverbank. You don't have to get 100 miles away. You don't have to fly to another state. You have to get away from a riverbank. That is more than enough time to do that. Second one is that people saying, well, the warnings would have been sooner, or they would have been better, or something like that if only the staffing had not been cut. The reality is that the offices in charge of this area were not understaffed. In fact, they were somewhat overstaffed, intentionally, I might add. According to the AP, what had happened is, understanding that a severe weather event was on the way, the office in charge of this, which normally has 2 forecasters, up to 5 forecasters, because they wanted to be able to generate a lot of forecasts and give very constant and accurate updates. So when I say overstaffed, not as in like inappropriately overstaffed, it's very appropriate to have the level of staffing that they did. But no, they were not understaffed. And the last thing I want to go over to add to this is Texas meteorologist Matt Lanza, who by the way, has been very critical of the cuts to National Weather Service and to NOAA, to National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, and to staffing and budget and so forth with them. He even came out and said, quote, "We have seen absolutely nothing to suggest that current staffing or budget issues within NOAA and the NWS played any role at all in this event. Anyone using this event to claim that is being dishonest." Now, again, in other circumstances, including as recently as today, talking about the flooding going on in North Carolina, he has come out and been very critical of the Trump administration. He's saying for the ones in Texas, it had nothing to do with it. So the point of that is that no, this did not really have anything to do with any of that. It should also be worth noting that this is hardly the first fatal flood in Texas. In fact, there have been many of them. There's one in Galveston 125 years ago, killed quite a few people. In fact, I want to say it killed something like 8,000 people. That was the Great Galveston Flood. In 1913, there was a flood in the Brazos River, killed 284 people. In 1921, there was the Thrall Flood, killed 215 people. In 1998, there was the South Central Texas floods, killed over 30 people. In 2017, Hurricane Harvey, there's 100 fatalities. So this is nothing new. This has been happening in Texas that we have records of dating back at least the last 125 years. I am going to go ahead and just guess that there were floods before that, because floods have been being recorded in human history for literally thousands of years. Ancient Egypt has records of floods. Ancient China has records of floods. There are records of floods from the Roman Empire and from the ancient days of Greece. This is not new. Floods happen. Doesn't make it any less tragic. Doesn't make it any less horrible. And that will be of absolutely no comfort whatsoever to the families who have lost people that they love in these floods. But in terms of, does this flood confirm my political priors or anybody else's? The answer is it should not. This is an act of nature. Nature floods. It's not new. You can find whole documentaries on it on National Geographic talking about floods. We have a tendency to view every tragedy as proof that our politics is correct. And I would suggest to you that that is not a good way of looking at it. We have hurricanes, we have floods, we have droughts, we have earthquakes, we have tornadoes, we have blizzards. That is part of the human experience. That is part of Mother Nature. Always has been, always will be. It's not going to go away anytime soon. It's been around for thousands of years. It's been around a lot longer than thousands of years. Human history has been recording it for thousands of years. Human history will continue to record it for as long as we will be here. So again, no, I do not believe Trump deserves any criticism for this. I don't think DOGE deserves any criticism for this. There are plenty of other criticisms to levy at them. God knows I have done it many times. I will do it many more times, but not on this topic. So if you are interested in helping, check out Red Cross. They usually have something good to do. Team Rubicon is another good one that usually does a lot. There's other charities that are very involved. Cajun Navy is another good one. So please feel free to help. That is the best thing you can do. I will say one other final point. I live in Florida. We get flood warnings all the time. Honestly, I ignore them most of the times. Usually nothing happens. Every now and then one of them does come true. I would not be surprised. I don't know this for a fact, but I would not be surprised if that happened in Texas, an area that probably get a lot of flood warnings. Probably a lot of people heard it and said, last 10 of them, nothing happened, so I don't think anything's going to happen on this one. Again, a terrible tragedy, but it seems to be a fairly common thing, people ignoring these warnings because we get so many of them where nothing ends up happening. But again, no criticism here. I do not see any political connection. I don't think this confirms or denies any political perspective that I can see. So either way, that's it for today. I hope everyone has a good day, and I will be back soon with another video. Bye-bye. Oh, please hit the subscribe button. Bye-bye.